Hey guys, so today I'll be reviewing my Dell Inspiron 1450-493 laptop. This actually isn't the first time I'm unboxing it per se, because I've actually been using it for 8 months and it's in a box right now because it just came back from a repair depot. More on that later, but let's get into it. So this is, I guess, the repair details. They replaced some parts, it appears. And okay, I'll explain what the issues were. So there was an overheating issue and there was an issue with the Bluetooth not connecting. So I guess I can test whether that works right now. So this is the 45-watt adapter which came with the laptop. I had to send that in with the laptop for the repair. It appears that that's still the same. This is the laptop itself. Oh, it appears they put some plastic seal on top of it. So that's nice. I think they maybe cleaned it. I don't think they replaced the back, but they just cleaned it, I guess. So that's nice. Very neat. So hopefully it has some juice and it can turn on. Yep, it is turning on. So I'll go through some of its specs while it boots, I guess. It has a 10th gen Intel i5-1035G1 processor, which has 4 cores. It came with 8 gigabytes of RAM, but it can be upgraded to 16 gigabytes, which is the max. My Inspiron came with 512 gigabytes of M.2 NVMe storage SSD. And it also has an empty 2.5 slot.
Hi there, I'm Cortana, and I'm here to help.
Where you can add
a little sign in here, a touch of Wi-Fi there, and we'll have your PC ready for all you plan to do. Use your voice or the keyboard along the way, and if you'd like me to stay quiet, just select the little microphone icon towards the bottom of your screen. If you need an assistive screen reader, press the Windows, Control, and Enter keys at the same time to turn on narrator. Okay, enough intro. Let's dig in.
Okay, so they replaced...
Your region is set to the United States. Is that right?
No, it's not right. Okay, so it appears that they completely wiped the SSD, or they replaced it, and yeah, it's completely starting from fresh. I'm not sure if that has anything to do with my Bluetooth issue, but whatever, I guess they think that will solve it. It's not overheating yet. That's
your keyboard is set to US. Want to stick with that?
Sure. Okay, so I'll check if
Please don't turn off your device.
It's doing some weird glitching thing on the display. Speaking of the display, it is a 14-inch, they claim, WVA-TN panel, which is 1920 by 1080 and is non-touch.
Okay,
so no
we got through this part of setup.
So WVA stands for, I think, wide viewing angle. So it's somewhere between like a traditional TN panel.
Now let's see what's new from Windows.
And an IPS panel. So the viewing angles are definitely better from like the TN I had earlier.
The legal stuff. In short, you'll need to select Accept to use Windows. You can decline, but then, no Windows.
very funny. So it also has a fingerprint reader for Windows Hello, but it does not have the face Windows Hello thing that some modern laptops do have. So I'm just going to set up my right index finger. It works pretty well. Like from my 8 months of using the laptop, it usually works, unless it's like wet or something. Try another angle. Oh no, I think it's an update. This might take several. I mean, the SSD is fairly fast, unless they swapped out the SSD, which I doubt they would do in the repair process. Like the SSD that came with the laptop, it's like pretty fast. Like it's an NVMe SSD, which should, in theory, be faster than the fastest SATA SSD. One thing that's not that great though is the battery. It comes with like a 3-cell 42 watt-hour battery, which is like pretty entry level for most modern laptops. It'll last like, I don't know, a few hours at best with normal usage. So you'll probably want to have your power adapter near you if you're going to use it for like long amounts of time. I already talked about the adapter. It's 45 watts, which is also pretty entry level. The Wi-Fi supports 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi, which is pretty standard. It's Wi-Fi 5, not Wi-Fi 6. So if you have a Wi-Fi 6 router, you won't get the advantage of that. But it's not, Wi-Fi 6 isn't that common yet. But it might start to become more normal in a few years. It does have a backlight keyboard. It has 2 different backlight levels. The backlighting is pretty good. I usually use the middle level. And as I mentioned, the Windows Hello works with the fingerprint, but not with the camera. The camera is a pretty, I don't know, average camera. It's not that great. Okay, yeah, it appears that they wiped everything completely, and it's just like a fresh installation of Windows. They reinstalled Windows. Okay, yeah, I usually like to have this at 100%, which is too small for some people, but oh gosh, I don't remember it being this small. Yeah, something happened. Okay, 125% is good for now. Now I'm gonna have to install Chrome and like everything again, but that is fine. I'm gonna quickly check if I still have the same Samsung P991 SSD hardware. Yep, same SSD. They didn't change the SSD, they just reinstalled Windows. Okay, so I'm done setting up the laptop, and here is a slightly closer look at the laptop itself. I think that it's a pretty good looking laptop from the outside. Hopefully you can make it out from the glare, but there is the front of the laptop. Here are the ports on the left side, so this is the barrel connector. This is the HDMI port. This is the RJ45 port, or jack, whatever you want to call it. Here are 2 USB Type A 3.1 ports. And here is the audio jack. And here's the front. And here is the right side, so a Kensington lock. A USB Type A 2.0 port, so the connections might be a bit slower if you're using a newer USB device. And here is an SD card slot. And at the bottom you'll see 4 grips, which will elevate the laptop slightly. The heating is unfortunately coming out of the bottom, which is not ideal because if it's against a desk like this, it might overheat a little. So I have these bumper type thingies which I put underneath to elevate the laptop. I found that it's a bit quieter after putting these underneath, so I'll put a link to them in the description. if you want to try it out. So it's shut down right now. I'll turn it on while I continue talking about it. So here is a line that separates the bottom part from the keyboard. Like most other 14-inch laptops, there is no numpad, so...
Now connected to Mithrin laptop.
Yeah, that's my Bluetooth kicking in, so Bluetooth works. Fingerprint reading is usually pretty fast. It'll be slower once it when it shuts on, when it turns on, sorry. But otherwise it's pretty quick. Here's a few more speed tests. You can register multiple fingers. It's pretty accurate, pretty nice. So I think I already showed you the SSD, but from the SSD you have 475 gigabytes of usable storage, and a lot of it is going to be allocated to Windows, but overall not bad. You can upgrade this particular laptop to 16 gigabytes of RAM, which is the maximum supported by Dell. So it came with an empty RAM slot where I added the 8 gigabytes of RAM. I'll put the link to that video in the description. This sticker hasn't really fared that well over 8 months, so I think it is time to get rid of it. And now it is gone. Okay, so the next thing that I would like to try out is Dell Mobile Connect, which stopped working when my Bluetooth stopped working, but now that Bluetooth works, I think it should work. Give me a minute to find my phone. Okay, so the funny thing is now it says that Dell Mobile Connect is not compatible with this device, which makes absolutely no sense because I used Dell Mobile Connect. It's here on the sticker. It says that, I don't know if you can see that, but it says that Dell Mobile Connect should work with this laptop. But after it came back from the repair depot, it appears that it's no longer here and not working. So I was hoping that I would not have to contact support so soon. I mean, it just came back from repair depot, but I guess here we are. If you're planning on getting a Dell device, here is a first-hand look at their customer support. Usually it's pretty good, but damn, I wasn't expecting Dell Mobile Connect not to work. When I initially got the laptop, it was already installed. If you don't know, Dell Mobile Connect is basically an app with which you can link your phone to your Dell laptop with Bluetooth. It's kind of like Microsoft's My Phone app, I think they call it. Yeah, so basically you can mirror the phone screen or transfer photos or look at notifications and all that from your laptop without having to open your phone. It's pretty neat. Oh, and I also forgot to mention that the chin on the laptop is considerably large. Like I guess you can sort of tell from the pictures, but like even in real life, it's a bit larger than I initially expected after 8 months of use. I've gotten kind of used to it, but like compared to like the sides and the top, the bottom is noticeably larger. So if that's something that might bother you, maybe don't go with this model. And there's a lot of, I guess, plastic in this build. Like this is plastic. The bottom I didn't mention then, but yeah, that's plastic too. So it might not be super durable in the long term. Like I already mentioned that this part cracked a tiny bit. So I guess be a bit gentle with it. It's not like super fragile, but it's not the most durable laptop. Might need to fast forward or time lapse this bit because this is taking a bit of time. And the hinges feel pretty good too, I didn't mention that. Like after 8 months of use, the hinges feel pretty solid, like day one. They don't go super far back, but it's enough for most people. I'm guessing like some Lenovo's they go 180, and the 2-in-1 laptops they go all the way. This one goes a considerable bit. Goes that much. I don't know if you can tell. Oh, so a quick tip. If you have any software type of problem with your Dell product, like I just had, although they recommend calling the support, I generally find that it's better if you do the chat option because they can do things like this and take over your screen if you're comfortable with it. And I don't know if you have like a basic sense of understanding if they're accessing any private information, in which case you can try disconnecting. But generally I find that chatting with an agent leads to better results compared to over the phone, because when it's over the phone, I don't know, they give you like, I don't know, try restarting, go and enter the BIOS or whatever. Generally it's not as useful. But chatting with an agent usually is pretty good. I was gonna try again. Cannot be accessed. I'm just gonna try the screen mirroring real quick. If this works, that means yeah.
Now connected to Mithran's Xperia.
Okay, now my Echo Dot connected to my phone for some reason. Message access. Yep. Anytime. So it does say I'm connected, and yep, it's working. So yeah, Dell support usually does work. Might take different amounts of time depending on what the issue is, but overall, no survey. Okay, nice. Overall, it's pretty consistent with working. Like, if they're not able to solve it over the screen share, they're going to send a technician, which they did in the case of my Bluetooth. If the technician does his thing and it still doesn't work, and then there's multiple issues, they'll ask you to send it to a repair depot, which in my case also happens. So I'm guessing if you get a slightly more expensive laptop, the hardware issues are less likely to occur, but software issues such as this one could still happen. So if you get a laptop with an included warranty, that's good, or in this case the warranty was like, I think discounted, so I got like 3 years for like $50 or something, which is a pretty good deal. But yeah, so Dell Mobile Connect is working, and it is very neat. See notifications, make phone calls if I wish. While my phone is connected through Bluetooth, I could look through my messages. If it's connected. But I mean, Bluetooth itself isn't that reliable, but the app works. Access files and stuff. Yeah, if I waited for a few more seconds, that would have loaded and I can mirror. Overall, not bad. If you made it all the way this far in this video, I am pretty impressed. So I talked a little bit about the camera and said that it isn't that great, but I mean, I guess it's average for the price point. Here are a few photos I took with the built-in camera. So I think it should be okay for, I guess, video conferences and anything like that. I don't know that many people that actually take photos with their laptop's camera, so yeah, this is just here anyways. So overall, I think the laptop's main advantages and pros are that it is pretty light at a little over 3 pounds. The SSD in it is like very fast. Like I'll put the speed on the screen. I used Crystal Mark to measure the speeds. Yeah, you won't get any faster storage medium at this price point in a laptop, as far as I am aware. Also, Dell's support is really good. It's one of, I think, the best laptop supports within at least Windows. And I'd say that the laptop is very well priced when it's on sale. Like, I definitely would highly recommend not buying it when it's at full price. Like, there are some things that you should really never buy at full price, including like smart speakers and other things. Yeah, this as well. Don't buy it at full price. Don't pay $1,000 for this machine in Canadian. But if it's a few $100 on sale, yeah, it's a pretty good deal. But always do your research and check if there's any other laptop with similar specs or better specs at a similar price. Some of the main cons of this could be the build quality isn't amazing. There is plastic, the bezel is plastic, the bottom is plastic, so those parts may not last as long. There could be overheating issues because of the single fan and the single heatsink. So beware of that, and if you plan on doing gaming or something, yeah, this doesn't have a dedicated GPU or anything, and heating will definitely be an issue then. But if you were having like a lot of issues, you could contact Dell. And the battery life isn't that great. So if those are important, maybe avoid this laptop. But otherwise, yeah, that's about it. Pretty good laptop. Thanks for watching. So, since I took this sticker off, I think it would be only fair if I added another sticker. So, I think this will suit the laptop. Okay, once again, thanks for watching. Oh, and also, check the description. I will be posting a blog post soon. If you want to check that out, you can click that link. Bye.